Michelle from the Trees of Motherhood. If you noticed from my opening title screen, I stole the IVF one and now have adoption. I am way too lazy to spend hours making a whole new title screen, so you get that one and I just changed it to adoption. So anyway, this is my very first adoption official updates vlog thing. And I am just like over the moon excited. In my, I think it was my first IVF vlog or somewhere along the lines when I was talking about IVF, I was saying about how like I felt like a weight was lifted and I feel like this is a proper path. I feel like that times 1,000 this time. With IVF, it just seemed like I was having roadblock after roadblock after roadblock, whereas with the adoption, I've just like, when did I decide to adopt? I think it was like yesterday morning, and I am like flying. I understand like the whole process is going to take a lot of time between the home study and stuff, but it just seems like things are falling into place for adoption, whereas I felt with IVF it was like one problem after another. So anyway, so I am officially on the path to adoption and I wanted to give you guys an update about that. So originally I was looking at international or domestic, I wasn't quite sure. So with international adoption I was looking at Bulgaria, Ukraine, Vietnam, and the US. Here in Canada with domestic adoption it usually takes longer, like up to 6 years, because we have strict laws about what money the birth mother can get, where in the States you guys allow the birth mother's like expenses to be paid, like rent and whatnot, whereas we don't allow that. So that's not an option for birth mothers to get that money, therefore less adopt or less put them up for adoption. So it is a longer wait time than in the States, but the birth mother picks the family. But because I'm going to TTC throughout the entire time, I don't feel like it's as bad because I'll be like having the adoption in process while TTCing. I'm sure there's going to come a point where I'm going to have to stop TTCing, but until I hit that point, I'm just going to keep going because why not? If I get pregnant, great. If I don't, I have that adoption in place. I was also stressed more about like living here longer, but living here longer was more to do with the store and the people are leaving in the summer, and also I was just stressed about that whole situation, whereas now I'm like, whatever, if we lose our post office and I can't TTC, whatever, because I have the adoption. I'm really excited to keep my kids because I teach 2 grades, so my lower grade kids will just continue with me next year, so it'll be really fun. So anyway, so I was looking at those countries with Ukraine, Bulgaria, and Vietnam. It was about $30,000, and then today I just found out that for the US it's about $50,000. $50,000. With the US I would be guaranteed a newborn because that's how it is. I would have to live in the States for 30 days, for 1 month. I would have either a black or biracial child, which I'm perfectly open to because that's what I want. So anyway, so with Ukraine, how it is only children 5 and up, so that went off the plate. With Bulgaria, originally I had seen 8 months and up, but then I was getting different things from different agencies. Some were saying 3 months and up, or 3 years and up, some were saying 8 months and up. Either way, it was going to be complicated and $30,000 and a 2 to 3 year wait. So I took that off the table just because the agency I want to work with was the 3-year-old and up. Then there was Vietnam, which the agency I want to work with doesn't actually work with them, but there is another agency that I liked that does. But with them, originally I had seen that it was 6 months and up for a special needs child, any special needs child. And then the agency that got back to me said it would be 18 months and up for Down syndrome. And then it was like 5 years old and up for anything else. Down syndrome is on my not okay with list. One of the very few things that is on my not okay with list. So that's obviously not an option. And plus it's $40,000. And then there was the US, which the US I liked, but not for $50,000. So that would have been a shorter wait, like about 2 years, but $50,000, people, that is a hell of a lot of money. IVF was going to cost me about $20,000. But anyway, so then was to domestic adoption. So domestic adoption is $10,000. That's it. Like, that's nothing. I mean, there's fees on top of that for, like, I have to travel out to do the training and the home studies, and then they have to travel in, but for the actual, like, set fees, $10,000 is what I'm looking at. So I am going to do a fundraiser for it. I'll give you details about that later so you guys can help me. So right now I am focusing on trying to get started. So for example, I have contacted them and we have set up a date for me to do my initial interview, my application intake process thing, and the education portion all in one weekend. So it's great because it's in May, end of May. I'm going to go out the Wednesday. The interview and application stuff will happen the Thursday, and then the education portion is Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday I'll come back up here. I already put through it at my work to have those days off, and it was approved. I am hoping it's not going to be chopper season because it is May 28th. And then I'll be coming back on June 1st, so hopefully the lake will be not frozen at all by that point. There is a risk of it being frozen, or not totally frozen, but like chopper season, where it's like not thawed enough to land on the water, but not frozen enough to drive to the airport. So anyway, so I highly doubt that it will be chopper season during that time, but that would be an added cost. One way is $350, so round trip that's $700, but hopefully that won't be an issue. For me to get to the city, it is about $260 round trip. I think it's a little bit more when they're actually landing here. I think it was like $140 each way, but that's nothing compared to other places. And then my biggest cost will be hotel, because I will have to stay in a hotel during that time at about $120 a night. I'm going to look around and see if I can get anything cheaper, or see if the adoption agency has any suggestions. But either way, I am so happy that I have this as an option and that I'm processing it so fast. And it's great because they're like, there's no worrying about my endo. Like, the endo does not matter at all. It's just totally different than worrying about if the endo is going to be an issue, worrying about eggs and egg quality and trying to get everything in the summer and just that whole horribleness. Because I am working with an agency in this province instead. So in terms of me living here, I'm going to stay here until I am done. If for some random reason they won't let me renew my contract here, I'll just go to another school in this province, because I don't want to be moving from this province, because I'll have to restart with another agency. I am thinking that I need to switch over some stuff. My health card I switched over right away, because if I only had my Ontario health card and I needed to be medevaced, which is like an emergency helicopter taking you to the city, I would have to pay for that out of pocket, and that's like $5,000 or some ridiculous amount of money. So I made sure I switched that over right away. But I haven't switched over my driver's license because I don't drive here, so I just never did it. So I don't have my driver's license saying Manitoba, I have it saying Ontario. So I'm going to try to switch that over in May when I go out for my conference, just to get that done. I think it will cost like less than $100 to do that. I've also been thinking that maybe I'll get a car for up here, not because I really need one, but I feel like being here, I need to kind of settle into here for the long haul, because it's probably going to take me a while before I get an adoption, and having a car would just be so nice. So I'm thinking like super cheap, like junky car, because where I live it's not like licensed roads. I would only have to pay for a day permit for the license of it, so that way I can just get someone to drive it up here when on the winter road. And then it's never going to go to the city ever again, because I have no reason to drive it on the winter road. I might have to get it for if I want to go to the neighboring community, because that's technically a legal open road, but I'm not quite sure how that works. But that's like $60, and I don't know if I will do that. I just like the idea of having the convenience to go to the other community whenever I feel like it during winter. So stocking up on groceries and stocking up on other stuff. If the mail becomes an issue next year during the winter road time, I can just drive over and get my mail, no problem. So anyway, that's my kind of random thought process with like a million and one things. It's really funny because I have like become so open about what I'm doing now, because like TTC is kind of like weird, like you know how it is when you hear that I am TTCing with a donor that ships it in, you have questions. And so I've never really told anyone because it's like a weird thing that promotes curiosity. Not that curiosity is a bad thing, but here it is a bad thing. They just don't have the, like, you guys know about TTC, you guys understand TTC, they get pregnant by sneezing. So they don't understand any of it. Whereas adoption is something they do understand. They don't understand like the whole domestic adoption and the cost involved, but they do understand the theory of adoption. So I've been really open about the fact that I'm going to be adopting. One, because I feel like it's just something that's now going to be part of my life, and it helps for them to understand that this is what I'm trying to do. And two, if there happens to be a baby that comes available, they might lean towards me because of the fact that I'm doing adoption anyway. So anyway, that is my first adoption update. I apologize it's so long. I promise to be shorter in the future. I still will be TTCing with my donor for as long as I possibly can. So TMI Tuesday is not going to go away. I'm also still going to get the supplements from the naturopathic doctor because it's going to help the endo and therefore might help my chances of getting pregnant naturally. I just feel like doing that and doing the adoption is going to have a better chance of ending up with the baby than doing IVF. Yes, it's going to take me forever, but still, it's going to be worth it. IVF was going to cost me over 20 grand to do. The adoption is 10 grand, and then I'm sure over time I'm going to hit that with TTCing, plus my travel expenses, plus the home study getting the person up here. But it doesn't, it's going to be such a spread out thing compared to IVF, and I'm hoping by doing the fundraiser I might be able to get my friends and family to help me out with it. So that's where I am. My brother's actually really excited about adoption because he was always like, that's the way he thought it was going to go. And then when I was talking about IVF, he's like, what happened to adoption? And I was like, it's so hard. And he's like, no, that's what you need to do. So I'm very grateful that I have him to like get me where I need to be. Anyway, I'm still rambling, but thanks for watching. Have a good day. Bye.